I mean, protect them with all of our might. There's nothing better. And unfortunately, the Giants have given their broadcast crew many an opportunity the last handful of years.
Oh, yeah.
I love pissed off Giants broadcasting crew. It's hilarious. Except for that it usually goes right alongside something that's really bad that's happened to the Giants.
Yeah.
John Miller doesn't really have it in him unless Ruben Rivera is running around on the bases.
That's the worst base running in the history of the game.
Other than that, John is just like technically so sound and awesome. Dave he'll go there, but it's a little...
You could tell he's frustrated.
Yeah. Well, he was mad when Hector Borg didn't send the runner in Philly.
Yep.
But Kruk and Kipe, you can tell they're just like, these freaking guys. What the hell
boy.
What the hell are they doing out there? Bartender!
Oh, no.
Yeah, just like...
Unfortunately, we have seen that side of Kipe specifically quite often the last 8 years, other than 2021.
It's not been good baseball.
No.
It has been a lot of it. There's been a lot of mediocre at best baseball.
Yeah.
All right, here's what Adames had to say about the blunder.
Yeah, I think strike of the house and mistake on a read too. So obviously it's a mistake that can happen in the game, and something that I think that mistake is probably the most ashamed that I will feel in the game. So I know that can't happen, and it was my fault. That's on me.
What was he talking to Mookie Betts about during the at-bat?
What were you talking about with Mookie before that?
Talking about the game and, swings and stuff.
Did you feel like that maybe distracted you?
I'll do that every time.
Yeah.
If it was because of that, then I'll make mistakes every 2 days. It's just my fault, something that can't happen. There's no excuses for it.
I accept that answer, by the way. Like, I know it's a bad look and it annoys people, but Willy Adames has been out there chirping at people every single night for a year and a half, and I don't think it has led to boneheaded mistakes before.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like it, though.
That's fine. I understand that.
And I forget if it was game 1 or game 2. It was not last night when he's on second base a previous time, literally going out of his way to give Mookie Betts a hug.
I know.
And I know Mookie's a great guy, and no one has a bad word to say about Mookie, but I don't know. As a baseball purist and a rivalry guy, I don't like to see the friendly banter.
I get it. I know
on the field.
I think there are a lot of fans who agree with you. It's never really bugged me that much, like Draymond and LeBron. It just doesn't. Yeah. It just doesn't hit me that way. I get it. I know a lot of people it bothers you.
But I'm with you that I don't think it impacted what happened on the field on that play.
It's also just what has changed in sports through the years.
Yeah.
We see that everywhere. And guys a lot of them don't look at it that way anymore. Now there are some who are cut from a different cloth. Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh
on the same team
won't even speak to each other in the World Baseball Classic, right? Made
not
a big
even
thing about it.
But won't even dap each other up.
Made a big deal about it. Probably had to address it on opening day this year.
Yeah.
So there's still some of those throwbacks out there, but we could find thousands of examples now of, even in rivalries, this is their fraternity. And I get it if it bothers you. Doesn't hit me too hard. Again, that's who Willie is. He plays with a crap ton of joy, and I know that can hit people when you're not winning. They don't want you to be joyous, but that's who I am. I have a hard time being mad when people are out there having fun and being joyous.
The Willie conversation is an interesting one because on one hand, I do like that, and this is something that I struggle with in my life personally, so maybe this is my personal feelings influencing how I feel about that. But Willie is the same guy no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Team's doing great. He's the same happy, upbeat, excited guy than when the team's doing poorly. And he'll treat a generic win on a Tuesday where they snap a 6-game losing streak like it's the best thing that's happened to them. And they clinched a playoff spot. He'll go on and dump Gatorade on whoever it is after a 5-2 win on Tuesday. that to me feels like saved for crazy moments, like a walk-off or a guy hitting 3 home runs in one night or something like, I don't know. And when things are going poorly, I have a hard time like accepting that really warrants that kind of reaction.
I get it.
I kind of want it to feel special. And when Willy acts that way, no matter what, every single day, again, I like that he's the same guy no matter what.
Consistency.
Because when things are going wrong in my life, I think people can probably tell. Like, I don't.
You wear it a little bit more.
I wear it a little bit. And Willy seems to not, which I think is an admirable and a good thing. But when I'm watching my sports teams, I don't know. I want the special moments to feel special. And it feels like Willy treats all moments as special moments. And then the special moments feel less special.
I get it. But, I also I'm never going to be mad at people for celebrating their lives on a daily basis. If that's what good for you. And I imagine in their profession, where when things suck and they're really out of control and you got to get up and do it again tomorrow, and you've lost 5 in a row and now you're facing Shohei, and you've lost 5 in a row and now you're facing Zach Wheeler, that probably really helps. It probably really helps a team when they can
just convince yourself.
Well, and
not a mindset.
Not send yourself on an emotional roller coaster every single time you got a tough game. That's probably a helpful thing. It's probably why he has the reputation of the clubhouse leadership that he does.
Yeah.
So Tony Vitello was grilled on this. Let's see. Let's start with, will you address this with Adames?
I think we'll just have a conversation to make sure that, again, I don't like being, maybe I should have gone to him, but again, the immediate frustration after the loss is there. I could have asked him in order to give you guys, an answer where we're both on the same page, but I don't have anything to hide. The guy works his ass off and plays his ass off every day, and some mistakes come, and we need to correct mistakes so that as the season goes forward, there's fewer and fewer mistakes no matter how they're coming, and I'm not just talking about him. Same with anybody else.
Did Vitello think that Adames had his head in the game?
Yeah, that's kind of a part of what he does. So I don't know what occurred right before the pitch. There's a lot of conversations that are going on in between me with the guys to my right and the guys to my left. So I don't know what went on directly before the pitch. Something we can always take a look at or have conversations about.
And does Adames maybe need a day off?
We've talked about it. I think a big thing for Willy is he kind of fought through a rough patch there, swinging the bat, and the way he fought through it. Wash was quick to point it out today for another reason it came up in discussion is he showed up every day at the park and was on a mission to work on his game, and I don't like saying find it. It's not like he was lost in a closet or anything, but, just to get himself back on the path that he normally is. And he worked really hard to get to the point where he is, I think, in my opinion, in a pretty good rhythm at the plate. So see where he's at physically as well as some of the other guys. We had a quick discussion back there about 2 other players. So bottom line is we have a chance to win a series here, which is always a challenge. And whatever we think the best foot forward tomorrow is, we want to do it, and then we'll see. We'll get out of here at a late hour no matter what. We'll see how we want to tackle the first game of the next series when it comes, but tomorrow's the most important day for us.
Okay, so there's Tony on the entire issue. He says, hey, we've been having conversations about who's sitting and who's not. Yeah. And again, I can promise you it's done in pencil, but I promise you before a series starts, they map it out. They map it out, and they will, like anybody with a young child, be ready to make a change.
That's why Vitello could tell us on Monday that Eldridge was playing the next day.
Play on Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
They already know.
And he said, it, though. I think he said also Monday the plan was for him to play 2 games of the Dodgers series. And he's played 2 games, which is why I feel like he's not playing today.
He probably isn't.
They've already said that.
He probably isn't.
He's played twice, and they said he was going to play twice.
And by the way, if I wanted to really push back on some Giants fans, who gives the Giants the best chance to win the game tonight? Willy Adames or Bryce Eldridge?
Right now, it's clearly Willy Adames.
He's got 8 hits in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
He's averaging 2 hits a night for the last 4 games. He made a mistake on the base paths, but guess what? He's one of the few people who got on the base paths.
Well, it's funny.
I don't know.
If this was a couple of weeks ago when he was not getting on base and he was trying to defend himself in terms of talking to Mookie Betts, and he essentially said, if I forgot how many outs there were because of me talking to Mookie Betts, I'd make that mistake every time I get to second, twice a week or more than twice a week, like twice a series. If it was a couple of weeks ago, I would have fired back and said, well, Willie, for you, it's more like once a week.
Snarky old.
Because you hardly ever get on base.
That's right.
But he's getting on base now.
Boom.
I'm going to drop the mic on him.
Face molded.
Too late now because he is hitting and he is getting on base. He was on second base the night prior and hugged Mookie Betts. Back-to-back nights on second for Willie.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And you can hear it in Vitello's voice. He's got no interest in spanking Willy Adames.
No, and what is he supposed to say?
Again, yeah.
It's a terrible mistake. He knows it. We talked to him about it. It can't happen again. Move on. And Willie's saying all the right things too, which is what he absolutely has to say. If he doesn't say those things, we've got a major problem. But he said those things.
Look, so many of us, we probably on some level, whether it's parenting or coaching at the little youth level or whatever, this is our only entry point to this. And that's how we might handle it because we're coaching 7-year-olds. I just don't think you can do this in professional sports. Hell, we've seen the Warriors not punish Draymond for a lot worse.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
That's in the story by Wright Thompson, too.
You're damn right it is.
And what Steve Kerr said to Jordan Poole after.
Everything is in the Wright Thompson story.
Steve Kerr's whole life is in this, which is why it's
You're not kidding.
50 pages long.
You're not kidding. It's one of the most fascinating feature articles I've ever read in my entire life.
Can I play devil's advocate, though, on the Adames thing?
Let's go.
Okay. Let's say Adames doesn't get today off for whatever reason.
Yep.
He plays. Schmidt plays, no Eldridge. And maybe they stick with that group for a couple of games. Eldridge, next time he plays, is in their next series in Sacramento versus the A's. And it's Chapman that sits out again. And that's how they get Eldridge's bat in the lineup. If you're Matt Chapman, you're the guy that's been asked to sit down 3 times to get Eldridge in the lineup. And, yeah, you haven't been hitting the ball great, but you haven't had a terrible mental mistake like a Willy Adames had. And you're looking at Tony being like, why are you picking on me? Why am I the guy sitting down when this guy next to me, love the guy, but he made a terrible mistake. Why isn't he getting to sit down when I have to be doing this over and over and over?
Well, my first answer is I don't think that's what they'll do with Matt Chapman. I don't think that's what they'll do with Matt Chapman. But what you're tapping into now is absolutely the larger issue. And I think that a lot of us are using Willy Adames' gaffe as a distraction from what's actually happening with the Giants right now, which is they have no idea who their lineup is. They have created a monster problem for themselves. It shows up every day, no matter what happens the night before. And I'm with you. I think people are leaning even further into the idea of wanting to sit Willy Adames tonight because it solves a second problem that has nothing to do with forgetting how many outs there are.
Let's punish Willie and let's get Eldridge in the lineup.
Eldridge back in there.
2 birds, 1 stone.
And I don't think people are wrong if they want to point out, geez, if you're going to start Bryce Eldridge twice in a 4-game series, first of all, that's already kind of not enough. Don't pull up your prospect to play 50% of the games. But if you're going to play 50% of the games, are you really giving the kid Yamamoto and Ohtani? And you're sitting him against the 2 other dudes.
Ohtani's the favorite to win the NL Cy Young right now.
He doesn't give up runs.
No, sub-1 ERA. And Yamamoto's great. One of the best pitchers in baseball, too.
Yep. And Eldridge, with first and third and no one out, raked the 99-mile-an-hour line drive off of Yamamoto.
Hit it hard. Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. On that one, there's no answer. You're never going to, and that's what I hate about it. You're on a nightly basis, you are not going to arrive at a good answer on who sits. You're not. And I agree with you. I think it'll probably be Bryce tonight. And that's what it should be, considering all things, I think. But in the larger view, that's not what it should be. And they've put themselves into a box now where they're going to really have egg on their face if they send him back down this early.
Because it goes against everything they have said.
And
over and over and over.
And it sells Bryce out. Similar to if you sat Willie tonight, it sells Bryce out because it's going to make it look like, oh, you went 2 for 20. And so we backed you But now we're like, never mind. Actually, you're not ready. Not a message that you want to send to the kid.
The whole thing about Bryce is just so confusing to me because what they've said about Bryce, we had, you and Dibbs had Posey on the show before last season, I think, and we've had the GM Zach Manasian on, and there's been, Pavs who's plugged in and knows about it, and a lot of others that we had Bryce himself on, like before the season began in spring training. And everything everybody has said is when this guy gets the call, it's because he's ready and he will be here for the long haul. Yep. Like they never, ever, ever want to have to send him back down again. What did they also say about why did he not make the team to begin this season? Well, he's got to work on his K rate. Okay, he's striking out too much. Have you looked at his numbers in AAA last year and AAA so far this year? K rate higher.
Still high.
This year than last year. It's pretty close, but it's higher this year than it was last year. And they brought him up. It tells me that it wasn't because they thought Bryce was suddenly magically ready for the big leagues. It was because of some other thing, whether it was marketing and drawing fans' attention away from an 0-6 road trip, or it was Rafi sucks right now, maybe calling up our prized first baseman will get him going, and maybe that was the reason. I don't know. It's impossible to tell. I don't even think Devers could give you the right answer on that because it's all so mental and just not an actual physical thing that you can point to. But everything it tells me is they're going to go against everything they said was their plan with Eldridge for whatever reason, whatever the reason is. And you don't do that to your top prospect.
Period.
I can't make any sense of it. And I think the likeliest outcome is that Eldridge gets sent back down in a week or two, in my opinion. And then they have major egg on their face because it goes against everything they have said over and over and over about what their plan is with him.
Yep, that's spot on. And that's what, even if you use the answer of we wanted to create a spark, the other guys weren't hitting, we wanted to shake it up, what's the common thread of all those answers? None of those answers are, we believe Bryce is ready now
to help us win games.
Now's the time for our number one prospect to be brought up. You don't do that until that's your answer. Mm-hmm. I don't care about anything else going on. I don't care who's hitting 100 and who's hitting 300. I don't care who's at what position. When my top guy is ready, when he's ready, and we need him here, that's when he comes up. And nobody has given that answer. That doesn't feel like that's why they brought him up.
No, it does not at all.